The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. We got quad witching, usually a big day of volume in the markets. We're starting things off. S&P's positive by 34 points right now, trading at 31.32. Got the NASDAQ, the NQs up 99 points at 10,082. The Dow up 327, 26,226. We got oil up $1.22. How about over $40? $40.27. Everything green up here. I mean, check this out, right? Everything. Besides maybe the VIX, besides notes and bonds. Notes and bonds, we got the 10-year yield sitting at about 0.73%. Gold contract up $15 at $17.46. We got silver up 35 cents at $17.85. Jumping over two notes and bonds, 10-year note. You see that action down almost 12 ticks at 138.15. The 30-year down a full point at 6 ticks, 176.08. And we'll jump over to the VIX, the volatility index approaching 30.95. As this market looks to open higher. Jumping back to the S&Ps to take a look at the week we've had, we make a low early Monday morning / Sunday night. We climb all the way from 29.23. We climb more than 230 S&P points to a high of 31.56. And then, my goodness, the fall off on Tuesday, you trade down. I mean, look at these to back it out again, just for some context on the swings we're getting. Early Monday, 2 a.m. Monday, as early as you can almost get, 29.23, okay, 230 points we go up. And in the span of, we're talking about from Tuesday at 9 in the morning until Tuesday at 11 in the morning, we trade down almost 100 points from 31.56 to 3,063. But guess what? We touched that level again at the end of Wednesday night at about 10 o'clock. You could say we consolidate in this range for all of Thursday, and we are now climbing back up to that, whether it's the highs we had pre-market Wednesday of about 31.47, the highs we had on Tuesday on that spike high pre-market at 9 in the morning, 31.56, going to be a critical level as we climb up to that level in the S&Ps. Jumping over to the Dow. The Dow, the high on Tuesday, 26,658. We're currently about 400 points off that price level, 26,249. Jumping over to the NQs, new highs as we speak for the week. And to back things up for some context, we are right up there, folks, in the NQs. The high on the 10th of June, you're talking about 9 days ago, 10,155, quite a spike low to 93.68, but we've now clawed back 700 points this week alone, folks. Remarkable action in the NQs, 10,084. Jumping over to Bitcoin, 94.35, you spiked as low, that's the daily on the lows in the market. For some context where we're at, we were as low as under 9,000 to start off the week in Bitcoin. And how about gold? Coming right up near the highs of the week, 1746. We were up at this level pretty much yesterday, early morning, 5 in the morning. And last week is 1753. So the highs for the week in gold, we're approaching that level. Jumping around to some of the other stocks with action this morning. We'll pull up some of the headlines and jump through the equities. So quad witching, look for some action here for sure. You got Alibaba and JD.com. I say action as in volume, volatility, all the above. We're kicking it off more than a full % in the positive. But as we know, folks, I mean, just again, for some context, you gotta, the market charges 230 points higher in the S&Ps. And then in this span, we're talking about 15-minute bars. You really want to see the action from 10:30 on Tuesday. We traded from 31.42, and in a heartbeat, in 45 minutes, we were at 3,063. Could be a volatile day in the market as we're looking to open almost 350 points in the Dow. Oxy shares climbing more than 4% after SunTrust upgrades them from a hold to a buy. Oxy really been struggling through all of this as well. I would be wary. And you see it trading higher from under 20 to 21, but Oxy shares, Yeah, that's a tough chart, folks. From $45 in February to $9. You float around that level for a while. We just pop higher in June, but be careful in that oil industry. So DraftKings, they're going to price a 40 million stock offering at $40 a share. Goldman and Credit Suisse, they're going to lead it. They rose more than 1%. Maybe they like the fact that they're getting some cash to weather the storm and build the coffers. DraftKings, pretty unchanged at about 41 on that. So Disney, price target to 118 at Wells Fargo from 107. If you watch this program, you know I'm a Disney long-term bull. They got some serious problems in the next year or two, but that Disney Plus streaming platform probably going to be the future of that company, along with the parks, along with the whole entire brand of Disney, Mickey Mouse, etc. They own ESPN, they own Hulu, but people just flocking to online content. The analysts maintain his equal weight, but it's up to 118, noting we remain more pessimistic than most on the potential length and depth of the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on parks operations and studio production. I would agree. That is a very, very tough one. Being in Florida, right next to Disney, of course, right? I'm a Busch Gardens season pass holder. I don't know when I'll be going back to Busch Gardens, to be honest. You know, I'm going to let things play out at least for a little while. We'll go over the numbers for coronavirus in a moment. Not good, folks. Above 3,000. The headlines all over the place if you've seen it. Disney in Florida, not where you want to be when numbers are spiking. So that's going to weigh on Disney for the considerable future. But if you're a long-term investor, Disney from 118 to about 120 this morning, ahead of that news. Jumping around, Penn National Gaming. So I saw this. They got 30 of the 41 properties, sending the stock up more than 3% pre-market. Now this one, Penn just recently purchased Barstool Sports. Good old Davey Day Trader Global. And there is some volatility, folks, from 40 to 3. And we're going to open at about 34 today. Just remarkable. I mean, maybe there was the threat that they just considered they were going out of business. You don't often get a 10-bagger opportunity. On the same front there were people, I imagine, who bought into this. Maybe that is the acceleration on the Barstool, maybe in January. I mean, you see the volatility that just comes almost out of nowhere. They purchased Barstool. Nonetheless, we were at about $40, and anytime you're associated with that type of a brand, I wonder if some of those retail investors had purchased Penn. Hopefully they did not get out as this thing cascaded. I mean, at this point, what's the point if you make it down to $3? But there was a long way where people could have sold out, and we're right back at about $40, and it seems like they might be better positioned than ever to capitalize on gaming with things opening back up and people flocking to Barstool and good old Davey Day Trader. Okay, jumping around to some of the tech stocks as we wrap up this first segment. Microsoft shares going to open higher this morning to 198, looking like an all-time high. We see the bid ask 198.60, all-time high 198.52 in Microsoft. Just remarkable. Look at this acceleration. Even this week, we've added $15 to the price of Microsoft since where we were on Sunday night. Apple shares been quite a rocket ship as well, from $330 to $355. Amazon shares trading higher in the realm of $26.84. We were just at $2,500 on Friday. You're talking about almost $200 Amazon's adding to the price in a week. Google shares this morning, not quite the same. Google up $8, but pretty muted action. Facebook shares, getting in the fray, taking down some Trump posts, I guess, on Facebook. Twitter had their own deal with Trump as that persists 5 months till election. Strong market to start off Quad Witching Friday, folks. S&P's up by 37. The Dow approaching 400 points in the green. Stay tuned. We'll be coming back right after the break.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of tfnn.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same tfnn.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new tfnn.com now and experience all the upgrades. tfnn.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting tfnn.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to tfnn.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's tfnn.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps positive by 37, NASDAQ positive by 111, NASDAQ approaching 10,100 within about 60 points of that all-time high as we approach the open. Quad witching Friday. Jumping over to one of the questions in the den, talking about Twilio, TWLO. Quite a run this stock has had. So Twilio, they're a cloud communication platform as a service. They're based in San Fran. They allow software developers to programmatically make and receive phone calls, send and receive texts, perform other communication functions using its web services API. Good time to be in that business. Quite the volatility during the pandemic of COVID. From February, you were sitting at about 131. You get cut in half to 68. And my goodness, we're trading this morning at about 215, maybe 216. We're going to open up at quite the gap on their earnings. They actually made 40 cents, I think it was. Yeah, they made 6 cents as opposed to losing 40. They were supposed to lose 40 cents. They come in, crush it out of the park. You trade from 120. This is a daily chart. The next day, you closed it at about 175. You could say we consolidated almost from May. I mean, look at that volume we got on that earnings, right? Things have trailed off a bit here. You trade up to a high of 209, and we consolidate really in a range from about 210, maybe the high. You could call it maybe 203 being the high on many occasions, the low being 180. So you got about a 25-point trading range from 180 to 205. We just break out of there. We're at 215. Maybe you come back and you touch that. And the question was maybe just take a look. I'm not sure. I would be wary, depending on where you're in this, trying to buy stocks in an environment where you just went from 68 to 220. So you're talking about the stock just went up 200%. I mean, even since we're talking about April 3rd, we were at $80 and we're almost up 200%. And it's not even 3 months later. Where's the real future growth? Is this stock going to be at $400 or $500 in the next year? That's a tough one. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I was just looking up, even trying to figure out some of their earnings when they came out with their numbers. So you're talking about their results. I'm just going over. They had quarterly revenue surging 57% year over year to $365 million. I mean, it's nice when you see hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, right? They made money as opposed to losing money. The estimate was only 328. They had revenue of 364 for the quarter. But geez, you're going to have a lot of growth priced into this equity when I believe it has a market cap of $30 billion right now. There's a lot of good companies that have a market cap of $30 billion. I mean, some of the ones that really jump in, let's see, we're in the realm of market caps of 30 billion. Yeah, it's going to jump. Even a company like Uber, I look at, they're almost double the size at like 60 billion. When you're talking about tens of billions of dollars, you really want to see some opportunity. And I just don't know that business enough to see all this volume on that earnings beat. They only made 6 cents. Okay, so they made 6 pennies and they traded from 120 to 220. That's a little worrisome. I mean, I know you were supposed to lose 40. They have a great platform with what's going on, but I don't know if I can buy this on the other side of that. Do you really want to be shorting a stock that is perfectly aligned with online cloud communication services during a pandemic where everyone's sitting at home? So I might just sit that one out on Twilio. Not sure we go there. S&P's strong, though, remaining up 37 points. NASDAQ up 100, Dow up 348. Jumping around to some of the stocks with action this morning. So Spotify trading higher in the pre-market. They got an upgrade to $275 per share from $190. They also raised the revenue forecast for Spotify. Spotify really been going at it in the podcasting realm. And look at this run from 110 to 230. And we're going to open today at 232. You're looking at an all-time high to put the action overnight on Spotify. Just doesn't stop on the stock. I mean, you go back. When they signed Joe Rogan, I believe this was the run-up somewhere in here where they signed Joe Rogan to a potential $100 million deal. Maybe that was middle of May. You hover around between 180 and 200, and boom, just like that, we're trading at 232 this morning on Spotify on their upgrade. CarMax shares are climbing after the used car seller quarterly revenue beat analyst expectations. So they had sales of $3.23 billion for the first quarter. Market was only looking for 2.7. Comp sales fell 41.8%. It's a big number, but that was better than the market was thinking, 51. And CarMax shares, what is their symbol? Car? KMX. Look at that rebound from 103 to 37, and we're going to open at about 99 this morning on CarMax. All right, jumping around to some of the other stories I had pulled up here ahead of the action. There's your volatility that we've had for the Dow. Watch out on Friday of quad witching, folks. We'll see what happens, but you're talking about big numbers on a consistent basis. Don't be lulled by the 0.6, 0.6, and 0.2. Those are the only 3 days. 3 out of the last 4 days. Okay, we've had less than a 1% move, but when you back it up, the previous 6 days before that, it was a 1% move or more. So big numbers, they might come out of the woodwork today. Okay, how about China? Accelerating U.S. farm purchases after the Hawaii talks. So high-level talks in Hawaii. It looks like China is going to accelerate U.S. farm purchases after the Hawaii talks. China plans to accelerate purchases of American goods to comply with the Phase 1 trade deal with the U.S. following those talks. The world's top soybean importer intends to step up buying of everything from soybeans to corn to ethanol after purchases fell behind during the coronavirus disruptions. So hopefully that goes well. You want to see tensions ease between the U.S. and China, two of the biggest economic powerhouses in the world. Okay, jumping over to some of the COVID numbers because they are on front and center, folks. Jumping to the U.S., stark numbers. We're dealing with 2.2 million cases. 120,000 deaths, staggering. Each one of those a U.S. death, folks. Big numbers, and they're not just numbers, they're people. You get into the curve, and this is the first time on a national basis that you could say we're seeing a real uptick in the 7-day trend. You came in on yesterday at almost 27,000 new cases. Deaths, fortunately, declining. But where are those new cases? One of the states in particular, Florida, where TFNN is based. Quite the acceleration. For the first time yesterday, you're talking about over 3,000 with 3,207 cases. Folks, you just back it up to the beginning of June, and we were at 617 cases. That is a spike. We'll keep our eyes on it, but when you transition to the S&P, and there is so much stimulus out there. We got a big day in Fed action, too. You got a lot of, not really action, but you have a lot of the governors out there speaking. So you'll get some Fed speak out there, and they are the reason why the market is flirting with all-time highs, the money they're putting in. But don't be surprised when maybe, I mean, you see the likes of Disney, right? Disney trading up $2 today as we're looking at cases spiking dramatically in Florida. And if that continues, folks, Disney, maybe rightfully so now, push things back. I don't think they wanted to be starting, stopping, evaluating. They wanted things to play out. I think Universal is open in Florida. You have Busch Gardens, I believe, open in Florida. Disney, a lot more at stake than just their parks, so they're probably letting things play out a little bit. They got ESPN. They have all of their brands. They have Star Wars. They have Marvel. So they have to make sure they protect all of those brands and don't do a staggered start, stop, start, stop. They really want to make sure things are okay. How are things going to be okay? They're going to open back up. But geez, it's going to be tough if we're getting 4, 5, 6,000 new cases a day in Florida when they're going to. Nonetheless, you have Disney up about $2 to $120 on some long-term optimism, we'll say. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back to finish up the program. We'll be back in 3 minutes. S&P is positive by 37. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of tfnn.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of tfnn.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get the competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to tfnn.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. tfnn.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of tfnn.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to tfnn.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's tfnn.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
welcome back, folks. Markets now, S&P's positive by 37, hanging in there. We get the Dow up 366. Jumping over to one of the stories in headlines they're talking about in the Den this morning, wild story. Talk about buyer beware. Wirecard CEO exits after missing $2.1 billion from where it is, nobody knows quite yet. So the CEO has resigned, and where this comes down, so Wirecard's currently facing a potential cash crunch, and where it goes is, let's get down to it. Come on, where's my statement? Resigned after the German payments company disclosed $2.1 billion missing cash. So they basically said that two banks, one in the Philippines and one BDO, that they were said to maybe have the money, and they both came out and said, we have no relationship. Wirecard isn't a client, and it continues to investigate the issue. Nonetheless, remarkable here, as it's all over the place. You have the shares trading from about 100 down to 22. God knows why it's at 22 if you're missing $2 billion. Chinese and German banks are most exposed to the company's two existing revolving facilities worth almost 2.5 billion euros. Banks typically take and hold their revolving credit facilities commitments for high-grade companies, which this was before that, so they're going to be ones exposed. They would not have unloaded this probably. And the CEO saying maybe they were a victim of fraud, but nonetheless, it looks like shady happenings in some capacity there. Couple $1 billion missing over at Wirecard. Buyer beware. All right, checking in on the VIX as we await that opening bell in 35 minutes. Backing off VIX 3089. That's an hourly, putting it on a 5-minute chart. You see the trend. Market just kind of creeping higher. I mean, look at that trend, right? From yesterday, you could say from yesterday morning, right out of the gate. Talk about a trend line. From 3,075, we're now up 65 points from early yesterday in the last 24 hours. We're trading at 3133 in those S&Ps, and we'll check on that. VIX, as we said, 3091. Stay tuned, folks. We got a treat. We got our man Steve Rhodes coming up live at 9 o'clock, filling in for Larry. Live programming all day at TFNN. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.